What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to this episode. My name is Jackie Oshevsky, and you're listening to The Strong Woman Chronicles. Right, so another podcast. Do we really need another podcast? I would argue yes. Why? Well, I was driving to my family's for Christmas 4 weeks ago or so. I don't even know what day it is. And I was listening to a podcast from a strongman competitor, and they were discussing OSG stats. They were going over the podiums, yada yada. And of course, I was brought up because I placed second at Worlds this year, and half of the stats on me were completely false. And some of the stats from the other women, again, were also completely wrong. And I see a need, and the need is accuracy in data when it comes to the females, because there's a lot of attention on the men and there's not a lot on the women. And as a female in this sport, I want to be able to give back by giving good statistics to highlight the women of this sport. I want to use this platform to share the voices of women whose stories need to be heard. And not just in strong women. I'm also looking at powerlifting. I'm looking at sports outside of the strength world too, because I really think there's some value in that where, you know, we all go through phases of body dysmorphia. We all go through, mental health struggles. We all go through, I don't think I can do it, thinking that we're not good enough. All of these things as athletes, especially struggling with food, struggling with eating. And it's not just because we don't want to eat, it's because we physically can't eat anymore. Anyways, that's a whole different topic and something I want to get into as well. But I want to use this not only as entertainment, but also as educational, something to bring to women in the sport who have been doing it for quite some time and just need a breath of fresh air, something to laugh at, or to those girls who are up and coming in the sport who want to hear from voices, experience voices, not just any voice, but the voice of wisdom from women who have been doing this for years and years and years. Um, and then just want to hear tips and tricks of the sport of how to do certain things. So that's kind of the purpose of this. I hope that you guys find it entertaining. I hope that you share it and subscribe. And I hope that I can be a useful tool for you guys. So, with that said, there's a few things coming up. We have a lot of big shows on the horizon. There's the Arnold, first of all. It's the first weekend in March. I want to be taking my podcast with me and doing a few lives there, interviewing some of the women that are there at the Arnold. I'll also be there competing. So, that's going to be a really fun time. Anytime there's a strongman competition, it's always kind of like a family reunion, or that's kind of how I see it. Being in this sport for coming up on 9 years, there's lots of faces that I've come to know and love and look forward to seeing. And the Arnold is just a big family reunion. OSG also is another big family reunion. And it's getting difficult because you're getting to know so many people, and saying hi is not an option anymore because you have stuff to do while you're there. So, the OSG after party is always fun. I never go to them because I'm so exhausted. And I usually look at Aaron and he looks at me and it's just like, do you just want to go to sleep? The answer is yes. The first two after parties I went to, they were super fun. A bunch of people went out afterwards, so it was always a good time. So if you're wanting to get to know people more, in comp is not a time to do it because we're trying to focus. We're trying to get in the zone. We're trying to, we have goals that we want to hit. And after is most definitely when, because when I'm on the floor, well, I guess I might be a little bit different. It's taken a while, but my mindset on and off the floor, it's very much game mode when I'm on the floor. And when I come off, we're good. There's no stress. But some athletes, as soon as they walk into the building, it's, game face. There's no separation between on the floor, off the floor. So the best time to get to know someone is at the after party. So, and honestly, like, no shade to those athletes. Excuse me. I'm kind of sitting here with a cold. No shade to those athletes whatsoever. It's the way that they cope, it's the way that they mentally compartmentalize the competition. Um, Everyone does things differently, and that's okay. So never take offense when someone ignores you in comp. It's nothing against you. It's the way that they handle stress of the comp. So just to be noted. Anyways, yeah, the Arnold's coming up. And with the Arnold, I want to interview some of the women that are going to the Arnold. So some of the Arnold Pro ladies, some of the Arnold Pro Am ladies, a bunch of the women from OSG Worlds will be at the Pro-Am. So I want to have some of those women on there. And then I'm going to be interviewing some of the ladies that are going to be on the pro stage. So stay tuned for that. Those are some things to look forward to. And then if you have any suggestions about women in outside of the sport, let me know. Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your feedback on that one, simply because I think outside perspective is super important, but it's not really that different, right? I mean, we're all women in sport in general. Um, we might all have a mantra. We all might have a game day routine. We all might have a game day breakfast. We all might have things to keep us in the zone. We might have things that our coaches say to us that are similar that keep us in the zone. So, if you have any ideas of women outside of the strength world in general, I'd love to hear. I kind of want to tap into the track world side of things, where I find maybe some people who do discus or shot put or something like that. I definitely want to interview some people in the Highland Games world. I feel like that has some really strong crossover. And you know what? In all of this, as I discuss with these women, maybe you find a sport that you're really interested in, which is really cool. We definitely encourage you to get active, keep fit, and have fun, as Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod would say, for those of you who remember that. I understand that that's pretty Canadian, but that's okay. All right, so the Arnolds. Let's get into the events and the rules. I'm doing this mainly for me because there are many times where I don't pay attention in rules meetings because I'm busy paying attention to a conversation that I'm having off on the side, and it frustrates my husband to no end. So this is for me. If you are someone who struggles to also pay attention, then I encourage you to pay attention to me and we'll have some fun together. So let's go over the rules. So, prelim events Saturday, and this is from the Strongman Corp website. It's on a Google Word doc, so you can just go to the website and find it there too if you find me super distracting, which I get it. I'll put the link in the bio so that you can follow along too if you want. Okay, so event 1, max log. Now, I have my thoughts on a max event in a strongman competition. I feel like I've made it known to a few people, but I don't ever see a max log attempt or a max deadlift going away. And if you wonder why I have feelings about it, it's because I believe that max events should be for powerlifting, squat, bench, deadlift. 3 attempts, powerlifting style, Whatever. I know that I'm not special. No one's special. It's the promoter picks what they want. It is what it is. So, event 1, max log. Max log clean and press. 3 attempts done in 3 rounds, powerlifting style, in present increments. So they have a list of different increments that you can take on here as well. I won't get into that. You'll have to go and look at it yourself. But basically, they have starting weights. Competitor score will be based on the heaviest log lifted. No additional points for getting it on an earlier attempt. Okay. Event format. Competitors will have 3 attempts performed in 3 rounds in a powerlifting style format. Rounds progress from lightest to heaviest weights. Competitor may start with their hands on the log. All right. That is a question that pops up every single rules meeting. Do I have to stand by the line or can I have my No, it says here hands on the log. So don't ask this question. Okay. You can read it. On the judge's command, you have 30 seconds to complete the rep. All right, that's decent. Competitors must declare their next attempt weight to the expeditor within 1 minute of completing the previous lift. If a competitor fails a weight, they can try the same weight or a higher weight on the next round, but may not go down in weight. Okay, fair enough. Weight increments below 210, increments of 10 pounds. So if you're below 210-pound log press, you can jump. It's a solid 10-pound jump. Um, between 210 and 300, increments of 15. Oh, it goes up. Sheesh. Okay, increments of 15 pounds. Above 300. I can see a few ladies getting this, not gonna lie. And that's gonna be wild. Like, I will be screaming my head off because it's gonna be electric. In North America's Strongest Woman, when Inez was going for the world record attempt and to beat her old prior log record, I was losing my mind. I think that's actually where I lost my voice that weekend, because it's like you never see history like that made in front of your eyes. So I'll lose my marbles if someone goes for 300. That's awesome. Anyway, sorry. Above 300 pounds, increments of 20. That's rude. Increments of 20 pounds? You'd think they'd have like smaller increments. Anyways, world record attempts, smaller increments allowed. So if someone's going to beat Inez's world record, you can pick your increments, which is awesome. Equipment specifications. Okay, so I'm thinking this is just for what you can like train on, so it feels similar. So Slater 12-inch log used for all classes. Okay, so this is what we're going to use. Pitbull 12-inch log used for weights lighter than the Slater log. So the Slater log will be 140, 160, and then anything later than that will be on the Pitbull log. And then the Rogue 12-inch log used for weights lighter than the Slater log. So 225 to 250 in the men's lanes. So it sounds like the men are going to be using the Rogue logs and the women will be using the Slater or the Pitbull logs, but it's going to be a 12-inch log nonetheless. Rules for lift down command. A down command from the judge is required for the lift account. Allowed techniques: strict press, push press, split jerk, or a viper press. If someone can viper 300, I will give you some Hawkins cheesies. I'll bring some with me. Time expiry. If the log is off the chest and being locked out when time expires, the competitor may complete the lift. Okay, I love that rule, personally. We saw Hooper do this at the Invitational, I think. I think he pressed and then the timer went, but he finished the lift and it counted. And the whole strongman world was going nuts because they're like, that shouldn't count. But like, he was in motion pressing it. It's just like a basketball. If someone shoots it and the buzzer goes and then 2 seconds later it goes in, it still counts. So I like this rule. That's cool. Dropping the log off the pads or leaving the designated lift area with the log will result in a no rep. So don't run away with the log. Stay in the area and guide it down. Unless you're about to like rip something out of your shoulder, then drop it wildly, but don't be rude to the equipment. Respect the equipment. Prohibited actions: resting the log on the head will be a no rep. Honestly, I love watching people press off of their head. Lockout standards. Okay, competitors must demonstrate full lockout with hip, knees, and elbows fully extended. No bend. Feet parallel, head pushed through, control of the log at the top. Guys, I feel like this is pretty standard. If there are any questions, like, this is pretty standard log rules. Accommodations. Competitors with physiological limitations must discuss adjustments with the judge beforehand. Approval is at the judge's discretion. I know many people whose arms don't go straight. My husband is one of them. I have an athlete whose arms also don't go straight. It happens. So if you have something like that, make sure you talk to the judge, because the judge will literally stare you in the eyes and wait for you to quote unquote complete the lift when in fact you have, because your arms don't straighten out. So dispute resolution. So there's really no rules about dispute resolutions except for max out events. Judging disputes: video evidence is required for any disputes. So it is good practice to record your lifts. I do, and send it to my coach. I also like to see where I went wrong if I misgrooved. So I feel like that's pretty standard. But competitors must present the dispute to the scoring table before the next event starts. So I'm assuming that's the next event starts, or maybe it's like event 2, Anyways, get the dispute out of the way ASAP, look it over, and then, because like if you're going for your own personal record, or if it's for points, you want these points to count. In the case of a data entry error, the scorekeeper will correct the error. So this is big in North America's Strongest Woman. They were not getting my score correct whatsoever. And Aaron spent about 20 minutes at the score table with JF fixing the scores. So I probably would have come in 8th if my husband didn't step in and help with that. So keep an eye on your score, or have your handler keep an eye on the points. um it's just good practice that way, like have them take a picture on their phone, have them do the math. Like, it's when we get up here to this level, points do matter, and we're fighting for a title, and we're fighting for an invite to the pro stage. So points matter. Make sure your handler's paying attention to that, because you as the athlete, you have to pay attention to what you have to do next. So the next event, you got to go rest, you got to maybe go fuel, maybe go take a leak, something, maybe go take a number 2, go take a dookie because it's scary. You don't want a brown streak in your compression pants. Lockout quality disputes. Disputes where a competitor did not receive the rep but believes they should have will have a higher barrier to overturn. Disputes where a competitor received a rep and received a down command from the judge will not be entertained. If a down command is given, the lift counts. So that one's a blow to the ego for a lot of us, because when someone is gifted a rep, yes, it hurts, but if the judge says down, it's down. Don't be hating on the athlete. You give the stink eye to the ref, not the athlete, because the athlete just did what they were told. They were being a good boy and a good girl. So be nice, okay? Equipment rules: allowed equipment, gloves, chalk, sleeves, knee wraps, belts, and Strongman Corp or Cerberus grip shirts. Who is using gloves on a log press? I just want to know that. Prohibited tacky or spray tack elbow wraps, shirts that are not Strongman Corp or Cerberus grip. So if you have a Chaos grip shirt, if you have an A7 grip shirt, if you have whatever, that does not count. Go and get yourself a Cerberus one. Code Jackie saves you 10% off. At the Cerberus Canada site. I don't know about the US site, but it might. You never know. There's a lot of US athletes with a discount code. So prepare now. We're 5 weeks out? We're 5 weeks out. Get the proper grip shirt, or else it won't be allowed, and then you're going to be really sad. Okay? Belt use. Belts must not be built up with towels or other materials. For lever or prong belts, the buckle must be worn backwards. Okay? Backwards. That's going to be a little tricky because I use a skinny little weightlifting belt, so I'm going to have to talk to them about that. What they didn't mention was the use of neoprene shorts. So that's a good question to ask. Or don't ask at all. And then when you roll up on the floor with your compression shorts and they go, you're not allowed. Oh, sorry, wasn't in the rules. Wasn't stated. This is fine. So the rookie move is to ask a question that they're going to add a rule about. So don't be that guy, or else someone's going to take you out at the knees, man. So just be safe. Okay, event 2, Kabuki trap bar deadlift, 4 reps. So deadlift 1 of 2 Kabuki trap bars for max reps in 60 seconds. So this looks and smells like the deadlift event at OSG. And weights are pretty comparable. So let's read it. Competitor will be presented with a heavier option and a lighter option. A rep on the heavier option will beat any number of reps on the lighter option. No time splits will be taken. I've never been in a contest where a deadlift has a split time. So that's a dumb question. Keep that one in your head, because never have I ever in 9 years. That's just a weird question. Don't, please. Competitor score is based on number of reps on the heaviest deadlift they completed. Equipment specifications. Kabuki, the trap bar HD with wide handle bracket width. That's amazing. Handles are 27 inches apart. Pick height is 12.75 inches. Handle diameter is 29 millimeters. So, it sounds like a standard trap bar. I think someone commented and said that the handles are wider than a normal trap bar, which is ideal for me because I'm little Miss Larry Longarms, and I don't know, wider is better because it just locks my lats in. Rules for lift execution. Down command. A down command from the judge is required for the lift to count. So no up command. Time expiry. Last rep must be locked out before the time expires for the rep to count. Okay, so this is different than the log press, where if it's in motion and the whistle goes, the log will still count if you lock out. This is not, the two are not equal for deadlifts. If you do not lock out before the whistle, it is a no rep. But interestingly enough, the very next line reads, if the rep is locked out at the time expires. So I'm thinking like you just make it under the wire. Competitor may be given the rep, even if the judge hasn't signaled for it yet. So don't give up. Go for the rep. Even if it's like you're 0.02 seconds past the whistle, it may count. So lock it out. Dropping the bar. We all know how I feel about this. It is a no rep. If you drop it from any height, put the bar down. And I feel like Strongman Court feels the same way. Oh, look, they do. Oh, what? Just kidding. Bar may be dropped from lockout. Well, okay, I am a rough judge then, because if you drop it from lockout, I'm saying no rep. Like, I am that judge. Dropping the bar may be dropped from lockout. Leaving the designated lifting area with the bar will result in a no rep. Okay, so clearly this is not farmers. We're not going for a walk. You're going to stay right where you are. It looks like a frame carry, but it's not. So stay where you are, do the rep. You're good. Prohibited actions. Competitor may not purposefully bounce the bar. This isn't CrossFit. I don't know if they've changed the rules over the years, but back when I did CrossFit in like 2013, 14, 15, we bounced the bar. I don't know if they do that now. Whatever. Don't bounce it. Dead stop. It's a dead lift. I'm sure that they will absolutely no rep you if you bounce. You know what? No, bounce it for me. Okay. Thank you. Lockout standards. Competitors must demonstrate full lockout with hips and knees fully extended, shoulders neutral or back. So basically your armpits have to be behind the bar. That's pretty standard. Fingers must extend past the bottom of the handles. Handles can't be hanging from straps. This has been controversial in many competitions where fingertips and straps, that's it. Grab the bar. Even if you got small hands, do some grip work. Accommodations. Competitors with physiological limitations must discuss adjustments with the judge beforehand. Approval is at the judge's discretion. So if you have tiny hands, talk to your judge, I guess. Dispute resolution. Why would there be a dispute? Video evidence is required for any disputes. Competitor must present the dispute to the scoring table before the next event starts. Okay, so it's the next event. In the case of a data entry error, the scorekeeper will correct the error. That's a good thing. For all other disputes, a panel of 3 judges will review the dispute and make a ruling. That's interesting. I've actually never seen that rule before. Lockout quality disputes. Disputes where a competitor did not receive the rep but believes they should have will have a higher barrier to overturn. I love that phrase. Disputes where a competitor received the rep and received the down command from the judge will not be entertained. If a down command is given, the lift counts. Again, be nice. It wasn't the athlete who decided to give themselves a rep. It was the judge who gifted it to them. Move on. Equipment rules. Equipment allowed. Straps, figure 8, and VersaGrips. Stretchy briefs, Cerberus, Evolution, Ray-Ban, Spud, Slingshot. So again, if it's SBD, if it's Chaos, if it's, what's another one? A7, can't wear it. They'll probably tell you to take them off. When I was at the Shaw and I had an elbow guard for a circus dumbbell, they told me to get rid of it because that was technically considered a second elbow sleeve. So know what equipment you need, be prepared, and don't assume that the judge is going to let you have it because they might not. They might be really strict with that. Prohibited equipment, deadlift suits, non-stretchy powerlifting briefs, tacky, spray tack. So for the open women, and again, I'm just reading weights for the open women. The lighter bar is 445. I believe at OSG it was 455, so it's pretty similar. And then the heavy bar is 560, which I'm pretty sure was the weight of the axle bar, but this is different. It's a trap bar. So 455, 560, any higher weight or any rep on the higher bar wins placing. So train hard, train heavy. Event 3, Rogue yoke down and back. Competitors will carry a yoke 60 feet down, turn around, and carry 60 feet back. Competitor will start under the yoke, okay, not on the line, under the yoke, but may not pick it up until they get the start command. Competitor will carry the yoke 60 feet down so that the front of the plane of the yoke crosses the line, so just the front pegs. Competitor will turn around, repick the yoke, and carry it back. Time stops when the front of the plate breaks the plane of the line. Unlimited drops allowed. So front to front. It doesn't say anything about pegs. It just says breaks the barrier. 60-second time limit. Competitor will get a time if completed or a distance if not completed. No split times. So when you cross the first 60-foot mark, they're not going to split time you. They're just going to give you distance if you can't complete it or a time if you finish. So you're not getting a split time. Don't ask that in the rule meetings. I'm doing this for us now, okay? Okay. Equipment specifications. Yoke will be the Rogue competition yoke. So what is that? The 185-pound one? It's the heavier one. So if you're looking for specifications for your training, it's the bigger one. 48-inch diameter double crossbar. Carries done on rubber mats. Now, if you remember the Arnold last year, they did not have rubber mats. They had a slippity slidey floor, and everyone did it in their bare feet. So I'm really glad that I won't get athlete's foot this year. Rules for carry execution. Starting position. Competitor may start under the bar, but all four corners of the yoke must remain on the ground until the judges give the go command. That's pretty standard, but again, you're under the yoke, not behind the line. Completion time stops when the front of the plane on the yoke crosses the line. Prohibited actions. Competitor may not intentionally slide the yoke. If the yoke is intentionally slid, competitor will get a distance based on where the slide starts. Incidental sliding and ground contact is okay. So I don't know how you can incidentally slide if you're on rubber mats. I feel like the yoke is going to dead stop you. So for your safety, don't try and be a smarty pants and intentionally slide because I feel like the rubber is going to tell you to sit down. Dispute resolution. Disputes. Video evidence is required for any disputes. Again, it's the same thing. You're going to need a panel of 3 judges. If there's a data entry error, the scorekeeper will correct the error. So really make sure that you have your handler on top of that, or if your coach is there. Timing, measurement, disputes. If timing based on video evidence within 1 second of the official time, time will not be changed. Okay. So if there's a 1 second variant, good luck, bud. If distance based on video evidence is within 1 meter of official distance, distance will not be changed. Oh, okay. So like within 1 meter, don't even bother. Equipment rules. Allowed equipment: gloves, chalk, sleeves, knee wraps, belts, Strongman Corp or Cerberus grip shirts. Again, just keep in mind Cerberus or Strongman Corp. If you have any other brand, it will likely be told to be taken off your body because they also hire a photographer and they're going to be using this for promotional things. And Cerberus being the main sponsor, they're only going to want their sponsors or their logo in those photos. So yeah. Now, one question that I would have is, can we wear compression, like the Cerberus compression shorts? That's a good question to ask at the rules meeting because lots of people do in training. This is a pretty light yoke for the open women, 560 down and back. So you might not need it, but for those who do rely on it, that is a good question to ask. Prohibited equipment, tacky and spray tack. Event 4. So this is going to round off day 1. Event 4, Cerberus sandbag, Husabag, sandbag loading medley. Okay. So we got 5 bags over a bar. Carry 5 bags of ascending weight over a short distance and load over the bar. Bags will alternate between a Cerberus dual-ply sandbag V3 and Cerberus dual-ply Husabag sandbag. Bags are set up at 8.2 feet, 6.6 feet, 4.9, 3.3, and at the bar. So I think the first 3 bags will be loaded over a higher bar, the last 2 over a lower bar. And I'm pretty sure this was the setup for the Magnus from Magnuson Classic in Iceland. So if you want to see what that looks like, I would watch the 2024 because it was the same thing. The first 3 was a higher. I think they only had 4 bags though, or maybe it was a natural stone. I don't know. Go watch it. But it was 3 to a higher and 1 to a lower. So that's going to be the setup. Athlete will start behind the line, okay, not at the bag, behind the line. Athlete is permitted to shoulder the sandbags. 60-second time limit. Split times will be taken with each sandbag load. Your score will be based on number of successful loads and time. Distance won't be taken. So if you start and you struggle at the first one, which is 8 and a little feet away, and you can't, they're not going to give you distance. That's just a big old zeroni, you know? Time will be taken when the sandbag hits the ground. So you will get a split time with a completed rep of the sandbag over bar. Equipment specifications, regular sandbags will be the Cerberus dual ply. Husa bags will be Cerberus. Bags will be loaded over a 7-foot long bar. Gloves, chalk, sleeves, knee wraps, belts, stretchy shorts, briefs. Again, 4 brands, 4. Ray-Ban, Evolution, Spud, Slingshot. Okay, so they're not even including any Cerberus shorts. So that's another good question. Make them clarify. Are we allowed Cerberus neoprene? Because it's not mentioned in here. And Strongman Corp and Cerberus grip shirt. So you're allowed to use a grip shirt for the sandbag. Prohibited equipment: tacky, spray tack, non-Strongman Corp or Cerberus grip shirts. Again, promotional, whatever. Okay, so for the open women, the weights of the 5 bags: 225, 243, 250, 265, and 275. Okay, so there's the Husa bag is the second bag and the fourth bag, and the final bag is just a regular old sandbag at 275. Those are the weights of the sandbags. The height of the bar, the height of the bar. So the first 3 bags will be loaded over 48 inches and the last 2 over 44 inches. So that's nice. Okay, now day 2, the finals. If you're lucky to make top 10, this is what you have to look forward to. Event 5, hoist lift. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people jerry-rigging and doing stuff on Instagram, and like, good job, guys, because this event looks very difficult to duplicate. The only thing that I can think of at my gym, because I don't have that, would be maybe single arm lat pull downs and holds and eccentrics. I think that would be, if you're trying to scratch your brain of like what to do, I think that would be a really good comparable movement, is a single arm, maybe like a towel lat pull down, because that's going to really tax your grip. So just an idea. Competitor will pull a rope attached to a high pulley to raise an object as fast or as high as possible. There's a little bit of a note here. This setup will be reminiscent of the hoist lift featured in the 1979 World's Strongest Man competition. I believe that's on YouTube. So if you need a little bit of help to figure out what that looks like, go look it up on YouTube. And I'll actually post it. I'll post the link as well so you can go watch it. Rope will tentatively be a 1.5 inch rope. The goal is to have 33 feet of travel time, lifting the object 5 meters up with a pulley to double the travel. Rope will be marked every 1 foot to measure height. 60-second time limit. Competitors will get a time if completed, or a distance if not completed. No split time. So again, they're going to be looking at split times or an end time. Equipment details will be announced closer to the show. Rope may or may not have a ratcheting mechanism. Oh, if it has a ratcheting mechanism, we are like, the heavens are shining down on us. So everyone cross your fingers and pray that they can do a ratcheting system, because then you won't lose distance if you slip or you start to lose chalk. So equipment rules: gloves, chalk, sleeves, belts, wraps, all allowed. I'm guessing that's knee wraps. That could also be wrist wraps. So that's another good question to ask. Are you talking knees or elbows? Knees or wrists, because they don't specify. Prohibited equipment: tacky, spray tack. Competition shirt required, so you can't wear your own shirt, but I mean, why would you? Additional details will be released closer to the show. Final event, Madhouse Gym Max Keg Load. This one, a lot of people are looking forward to. And my personal opinion on it is this is going to be a bloodbath. Like, women are going to bleed for this event, because this could and will determine the podium. When I completed the stone run at OSG at World's Strongest Woman, I did not anticipate going from 5th and jumping to 2nd because of that win. So like anything could happen, and there's a lot of strong mofos out there. Like some of you ladies are crazy strong. So I am really excited for this because it will be to the death and I can't wait. Um competitors will have oh sorry. Competitors will have 3 attempts to load the heaviest keg possible over 48-inch bar. Done last person standing. Fourth attempt allowed for attempt over the world record. Do we know what the world record is? I'm going to assume no, because everyone I've talked to on Instagram, they're just like, I don't know. Do you know? So interesting. Maybe a world record will happen. Who knows? Event format, competitors will have 3 attempts performed in last person standing format. Athlete order for each weight will be in reverse order of standings. Love that. Competitor will start with their hands on the crossbars, so just like a stone. On the judge's start command, they have 30 seconds to complete the load. Competitors must declare their next attempt to the expeditor within 1 minute of completing their previous attempt. So, man, this is a 1 rep max I can get behind. This is strongman style. I love this stuff. Stone loading, max events like farmer max, yoke max. It's just good, where like your hands are all cut up and bleeding. It's good. Anyways, I'll move on. If the competitor fails a weight, they are out. What? Well, that's wild. Equipment specifications. All kegs will be a standard 15.5 gallon, or for you Commonwealth people, so everyone except America, 58-liter stainless steel kegs. Kegs are from a vast collection of kegs at Madhouse Gym in Mableton, GA. Keg contents will be dependent on weight. Competitors will load over a long crossbar, so I'm assuming that they're going to shorten that 7-footer, or they might just use that 7-footer. That's what I would do, honestly. It's just saving equipment that you don't have to bring in or take out. Equipment rules. Allowed equipment spray tack. Oh, that's fun. So, in brackets, Atlas grip spray, Will Development wet tacky, Mueller, Stickum, Harpix resin Kistler. Gloves, chalk, sleeves, knee wraps, belts, stretchy shorts, briefs, again, Ray-Ban Evolution Spud Slingshot. Again, can we use Cerberus compression shorts or stretchy shorts as they call them? Maybe say stretchy shorts, because if you say compression, they might be like, no. So I would use their wording just so that it's clear. Prohibited equipment, tacky, unapproved adhesives. Whatever creativity you got cooking in that brain, stop. Just don't do it. Belt use. Belts must not be built up with towels or other materials. Competition shirt required. Grip shirt may be worn under competition shirt, but not on the outside. Interesting. Now with that, I don't even know if a grip shirt underneath the shirt does any good. So just chalk up. Just put chalk on your chest, chalk on your stomach. I don't know. Like, does that even work? If it works for you, let me know. It's never worked for me, so I just don't anymore. So those are the rules in full. I read it from top to bottom. If you were paying attention, good job. You did it. I read it through fully, so now going into training, I am aware of the rules. And honestly, that's a really big take home. If you are new to the Arnold, new to competing, it is really useful to read the rules ahead of time, because then you are prepared in your training and you can train prepared. You can come prepared to the standards of the competition. With that said, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate my audience that I have. Coming up next week, we have a special guest with us. We are going to be talking about her start in the sport of strongman. We're going to be talking about her thoughts and ideas on different things. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited to bring her on this podcast. You're going to be seeing a lot of her too, just like Bailey Deshane. Oh my God, she's a Clarity now. I am so sorry, Bailey. I'll wash my mouth out with soap. Sorry. Yeah, she's going to be a repetitive guest because she's got a lot of really fun things to say. So I don't want to contain all of it. I want to let it all out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share it. Let's get the word out. Let's really promote women here. We talk about women need more. Okay, so then do that. Be more. Take accountability. Promote it. Put stuff out there that highlights women. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you have any ideas or comments or suggestions or feedback, I would love to hear it. I'm a little bit slow on the DMs just because most days my brain is completely occupied with work. So I will do my best to get to you. But please, I'll take a look at it. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love some feedback. If you have questions that you want me to read on the podcast, that could be fun. It could be scary because it's me, but it could be fun. Anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the views and the subscriptions. You guys have a killer week, and I'll talk to you next time.